all of the live action this weekend as qualifying Heat C versus E will brace the circuit in a few moments' time for the senior category. And this will see the likes of, great to hear from Thibaut Ramekers. 2 years ago, couldn't get a word of English out of his mouth. He was learning English. It was brilliant to see he's come along a long way, and then even throws in a cheeky in there as well. Well, he scored a cheeky pole here as well in this session, and we'll have to see what he can do. He'll have Mariano Lopez just behind, who's had a fifth and a fourth over the course of this one. But, of course, Lev Krutilov on the Energy Course machine, starting alongside a P2 and a P6 yesterday. Lev's been looking pretty quick so far this weekend as we go on board with Mariano Lopez looking backwards. That is Roman Kamyab in view just behind. And this will be a prime view from the view of the driver from Peru. Field makes its way out onto the circuit then. Let's take you through the full starting lineup for this one, which will be qualifying Heat C versus E. Thibaut Ramekers, 2 wins out of 2. Sees him start this one from the pole position spot from his qualifying yesterday. Lev Krutilov joining him alongside. Mariano Lopez and Jindra Peschel will go from row 2. They'll have the likes of Roman Kamyab and Oscar Gallin on row number 3. Kamyab suffering a DNF in his first race yesterday. Scott Marsh and Boris Lysen go from row number 4. They'll have Davide Bottaro and Luis Francis on row number 5. Toby Gale and Emily Koivisto will go from row 6. Vilma Svan and Elliot Kaczynski on row 7, with Simon Bulbarella and Matthias van der Kerkhoff on row number 8. Luna Flusha and Derek Trefilov, who isn't lost, he's racing this weekend, usually from his gearbox racing, started on row number 9.
On row number 10, we'll have Ella Hakkinen with half of a new set of tires on the rear. That's interesting. Chirzao by her side, Dean Pedersen and Aaron Garcia, row number 11, row number 12, Igor Marti and Radek Vavra, row number 13. At the back end, we have Karl Richtard and Jason Bralic. As you can see, Ella Hakkinen on the half of a new set. Then we have on row number 14, Sebastian Mins and Marcus Kunas, Efim Derunov and Erikas Klepikas by his side, row number 15. And row number 16, Roberto Renderos, Alexander Dahlström, followed by Nawin Nati Fanan and Austin Gale on the last row number 17. 34 drivers out there onto the track. All of them with used tires, but for Ella Hakkinen on the 19th position, who chose to put 2 new slick tires.
It's actually just one.
Is it the one?
Yeah, it's just the right rear tyre that is on. And usually when you see one deployed, that might mean it could be a replacement. If there has been an issue with the tyre, they can get a replacement. Okay. If that has happened, that might just be that. I don't think that is a full deployment just yet, but we'll have to wait and see. Confirmation there. It is just the right rear tyre. Into the tram lines. Lights are out. We are racing in Senior C and E, and it's a good start for Ramekers once again, controlling the field through turns number 1 and the chicane as they all battle through, quite a few clouting that inside curb on the second half of that apex, but everyone else getting through nicely. Mariano Lopez on board, looking backwards, can't see Roman Kamyab in view. Kamyab there, who is holding on to 3rd place right now, but has got the DPK machine of Scott Marsh all over the rear bumper as the 2 Brits now go wheel to wheel for 3rd and 4th place. They've clearly broken away at the sharp end of the field as well, but I think Marsh has just lost out there to, I think that's a CRG. Is that Davide Bottaro that's had a brilliant start there, or could it be Oscar Gallin? No, it is a CRG. I think that is Davide Bottaro, yeah, who's up into 4th place. That's a very strong start.
Yeah, let's have a look at the gap. So 1 lap completed, everybody on board still. As Bottaro, yes, indeed, making his way up to P4. 5 places gaining in the course of that opening lap. Led by Thibaut Ramekers, 4/10 of a second on Lopez, Kamyab, Bottaro, Marsh, Kutolov, Gale, Peschel, Svan, and Boris Lysen, who lost one of his results yesterday after scrutineering, so he's going to need just to push a little bit more. And I said that Ella Hakkinen just made a way past up into P10 now, having climbed 9 positions with that sole new slick tire on. As the battle is already taking another turn. You can see that Thibaut Ramekers is pulling away on board with Mariano Lopez currently in 2nd place, being chased by Roman Kamyab, as it's going to be quite close indeed. This was actually Scott Marsh, at the wheel of the DPK machine, who just made his way past not only Roman Kamyab but Davide Bottaro. So Scott Marsh up to be 3rd, behind Kamyab, in front of Bottaro, and Krutilov just behind in 5th. So it keeps on changing left and right. but they're going to have to refocus on the task at hand and try to catch up with Ramakers, who's pulling away already 0.8 of a second for young Belgian. Exactly the same strategy that he applied yesterday, bringing him 2 wins out of 2. And Ala Hakkinen, in the meantime, pulling on the fastest lap as one of the Tonys makes his way on the inside of Bottaro. And this is happening a little bit further back behind. It might have been actually one of the Tonys a little bit later in the classification.
Vilma Svan all over the rear bumper here of Mariano Lopez. Fabulous onboard views here around the tight and twisty section as hello down the inside, says Ella Hakkinen. I'll take that place away and I'll try go for the moves now. So that is Ella Hakkinen now up 10 places and up into P9, pushing through nicely. That was a big send down the inside as well there. That, I think, was, again, Boris Larsen pushing his way through. Maybe even the rest behind as well. Hugo Marti looking very strong also. But big gains throughout this one as Simon Barbarella sets the fastest lap of the race. This is that fight further up in the order. But still, Toby Gale looking strong here now. Toby Gale's actually had a really good weekend here. 11th to the 5th after starting P11 over the course of the qualifying heat. So still some good results. And he's seeing it again in this one. Another P5 at the moment on a 6th place gain. The driver from Thailand certainly putting in the work here today and earlier on yesterday in the weekend. Over the line we go. Still Ramakers clear from the group of 4 behind. Kamyab, Marsh, Krutelov and Gale. Still very close in one group.
Halfway through this qualifying heat, lap number 5 out of 13. And the battle raging with the DPK machine of Scott Marsh chasing Ulrike Flynn, Roman Kamyab. Let's see what the young Brits will be able to do, because they have the pressure both of Lev Kutuholov, the Ukrainian driver, running inside. There he goes, taking the energy machine up another place in 3rd. Beautifully made in turn number 7 for Kutuholov, and that puts Scott Marsh in the close of Toby Gale at the wheel of the Birel Art. Easy look classification as it looks now, with a full second advantage. Tibor Ramakers will make it 3 out of 3. As run the inside in the last turn goes Lev Kutuholov. No, it was Jirish Toby Gale. I'll get this right. Toby Gale in front of Scott Marsh, dropping another place down to place 6. As Pezel is coming back at him, 5 and 6 respectively. Bottaro down in 7. Barleisen, Budarella, Lopez, Hakkinen. As other drivers keep coming down the order, I'm afraid. Some of them are climbing. Sebastian Mins, 12 places gained, is currently in P15. As Hugo Marti climbing the field as well, 9 positions gained. So some of them being able to maximize the performance out there. As Mariano Lopez is the 352 currently in P10. Ella Hakkinen just got overtaken. Oh, two drivers coming together.
Overtaken and taken out. Hakkinen and Svan are out together there. That is at turn number 9 on the circuit. Hakkinen out of the race with Vilma Svan tumbling out, and that is a huge, huge shame for them, especially with them both actually gaining good place in the early stages. Marsh down the inside once again of Gale. The two switching places. They don't want to do that too many times. Peschel is just behind. Indra Peschel on that Tony Kart machine from Czechia, still trying to pile on that pressure as the battle's still happening just in the background there as well. I think that might have been Dean Pedersen getting past Oscar Gallin there, so we'll keep a close eye on that progression there as well. I think was the MP there, Karl Luthard, just getting past as well. So we'll keep a close eye on that progression, as Sebastian Mins is going to see a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision, and that is not going to be well received from him. He is currently in 13th place on a 14-place gained. Maybe one of those 14 places may have been a bit too harsh.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. One of the biggest climbers, if not, yes, the biggest climbers out of the field, but at a price. Boris Leisen, the fastest in this race so far, currently P7, battling with the CLG driver, David Bottaro. Just made his way past, as you can see now, behind the fusion of Mariano Lopez and Simon Barbarella at the wheel of the Tony Kart by Roll Racing. They are currently in 9th and 10th on the edge of that upper part of the classification. At the 307 on picture, this is Lev Kutuholov on Roman Kamyab still. The battle is raging for 2nd place, split by just 0.3 of a second. And looking at the gap with the leader, Thibaut Ramakers, with less than 5 laps to go before the checkered flag for now. Well, still around a second, so it seems to me that Thibaut has been really pushing forward to try to extend that gap, but in control mode by the look of it, so the gap has not been, extended to an extent, to a distance where the race is done and dusted just for now, even though the pace are very much similar between the last two. Yeah, within the same tenth of a second between Thibaut Ramakers and Romain Kamiab, so that shall be quite a difficult challenge for the British in second to decrease the gap on the Belgian, especially with the pressure of the Holland just behind. But those three still very close on track, with Scott Marsh at the wheel of the DPK machine. Might have spotted some colors from the Aston Martin Racing Academy by El Semior and Fernando Alonso, as deliveries of the DPKs are mixing the green, the racing green from Britain, with the blue and yellow from Spain. Always nice to see those new partnership coming along in karting. Let's see if Scott Marsh is putting the pressure on Kutuholov right now, as Svan is being investigated for a collision. And as I say that, running inside at the far side of the track in turn number 7. There we go, Scott Marsh and Kutuholov.
Yeah, that was smart from Marsh. He saw that Kutuholov went wide out of the corner previous to that one. Knew he was going to be a little bit weaker going into it with a bit of dirt on the tyres. That was a perfect reading of the race there from Scott Marsh, and claims that position away from Kutuholov. That does open up the gap to Kamiab, though. With that, but sure, there's a couple of laps left in this race. They'll be able to close in. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Toby Gale still holding firm in P6, though. Boris Lyson just behind. Might have to start worrying about Boris Lyson in this one, might Toby Gale. He had a spell of setting the fastest laps of the race earlier on. He first got past Davide Batara earlier on, then he got past Peschel. Now he is closing in on the likes of Toby Gale just behind, and quite a significant rate there. Look at this now. He's all over that rear bumper as they head in towards turn number 9. No lunges just yet, but something tells me we might see one very, very soon.
Yeah, and they won't have much time to try to switch those positions. The checker flag is getting near now. Lap number 11 about to be completed by Thibaut Ramakers, as the World Racing is still in the picture. 19-29 further back of Simon Burbarella. Mariano Lopez just in front. Look at the battles there. Penultimate lap it is. On into the turn number 1. Still for second between the leaders. Kamiab, Marsh, Kutuholov. To turn number 4. And look at them jumping over the crest, the 227 of Romain Kamiab. Scott Marsh on this tail. Coming back at him all the way down to turn number 7. And the pressure of Kutuholov, and further back as well, Toby Gale and Boris Lyson still caught up together. This is battle for P5. Run inside, there goes Lyson. Beautifully made. Oh, there wasn't much space between the bailout machine and the side of the track. Not even clipping the curb, but Boris Lyson at the wheel of the Kyrgyz Motorsport machine just made his way past, in need of strong results, as we said, after yesterday's misfortune, and the result he lost on green carpet afterwards. So he will be certainly chasing the stronger results he can get his hands on.
Yes, indeed. It was eyeing that one up for quite some time on Toby Gale as we go on to the final lap of this race. Still in control, though, as, oh dear, this is closing quite nicely. Kamiab is going to have to fight for this second place here from Scott Marsh. Scott Marsh, who's looking to try and gain these good results. He's not out of P2 yet, he's not out of top 3 yet, but that move down the inside has cost him dearly, as Kutuholov is back on the attack. He is going to have to try and defend now more than attack. He has lost touch of Kamiab from that one attempt to trying to get past. It has not worked out for him, and now Ramakers will hold on to that lead. Kamiab will take second. Who will hold on to third? It will be Scott Marsh over the line, but Ramakers takes the win. That's 3 out of 3, 150 points. He is going into his second half of the weekend now with a very strong points lead. It is Kostoya who is second in the points currently with 138. That is a significant advantage for Thibaut Ramakers.
Yeah, the Belgian has been impeccable so far. Biggest mover in this race, Sebastian Minz, with a 14 positions gain. But unfortunately, picking up a 5-second penalty from the officials as a result of that remontada. Still a good effort for Sebastian Minz. And in the meantime, well, Thibaut Ramakers, untouchable, unshaken. And 3 races and 3 victories for the flying Belgian, who is currently sitting in third place in the classification of the championship. Here's a ranking in full. Ramakus, Roman Kalyan and Scott Marsh, as well as Lev Kutuholov split by just a tenth of a second on the line. Boris Lyson picking up 5th place from Toby Gale. Jerzy Spezel, Davide Botaro, Mariano Lopez and Simon Burbarella. Your top 10. 11th place for Luna Fluscia from Ugo Marti, Sebastian Minz, Dean Pedersen, Karl Luthar. Matthias van der Krakov is 16 from Lewis Francis, and 18th place for Emily Covisto.
Aaron Garcia, 3-place game puts him 19th, ahead of Kaczynski. Oscar Gallin